Hello everybody, I'm here for the Hammer Game Channel. Welcome back to TNO and to my Sverdlovsk playthrough where we're kicking off straight into an event. Old tools for a new world. Captain Valentin Markov's eyes widened. They saw the piles upon piles of crates being unloaded from the old truck. They filled the back from bottom to ceiling and packed it from back to front. There are more on the way from the old armory, Lieutenant Popov said. We'll get the rest of the logistic battalion staff for inspection before and do a preliminary check on these things. The captain nodded as a pair of men lowered one of the crates onto the ground and opened it with a crowbar. Markov picked up an old PPS-41 from it, his jaw dropping. The smooth, dry stock gun and the gleaming metal barrel could have been made yesterday. He looked at the mechanism. It looked like it had just been brought out of the factory. Let me test it out. Do you have any ammo, Lieutenant? Yes, Captain, let me check. The lieutenant answered, gazing into the crate before finding a box stock, and he handed it to Markov, who took some bullets from his ammo pouch, loaded the gun, and pulled the trigger. It roared to life, firing the bullets within seconds, high into the air. That was good enough test for him. Setting the gun down, extending a hand to Lieutenant Popov. Excellent find, Lieutenant. PPSH-41. Oh, the PPSH. What a gun. What a gun. Oh, forgot Madagascar's in the war. So we have 4 more focuses until we get another tree. The Silent Morning, which finally gets rid of the Luftwaffe terror bombings, which have been, well, ongoing for quite some time. It's really going to help us actually, getting rid of that. We do have to deal with a very high Black League influence. We need to deal with that. The shadow spreads. Comrade Lieutenant, Private Dadov saluted his officer as he entered the office. Private Dadov, Lieutenant Kotov replied. What brings you here today, comrade? There's something I wanted to talk about, the private replied. You see, one of my squad mates, Comrade Morozov, it's kind of funny. He sort of talks about a great trial that's going to happen soon and how it's going to lead to the rebirth of Mother Russia. They gave a pamphlet about it and I thought you should see it. Dadov handed the lieutenant the pamphlet. It was black with a white eagle and words, the great trial, printed on top of it. Thank you for telling me this, comrade, Lieutenant Kotov said. You may go back to your quarters. Private Davidov saluted the lieutenant and left. Closing the door, Lieutenant Kotov took out his phone and began making a call. Hello, Comrade Colonel. Yes, it's me, Lieutenant Kotov. I found there are ultra-nationalists in our ranks. Split the worst agitators or start cracking down. We're an authoritarian democracy, aren't we? Yeah, let's split the worst agitators. Yeah, we need to deal with... We need to crack down on them. The revisionists have a medium? You need to kind of deal with that as well. The only issue is getting the political power. Because the political power does not come very easily to us. We were to turn the tyrant link now, anti-air. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any political power anytime soon. Cast them down. The bombs fall, such as a simple fact in Russia. Further east, perhaps, across the Ural Mountains, many Russians find it not solace and calm, a semblance of silence. However, for many in Sverdlovsk, from the army to the civilians, the option of retreating beyond the mountains is nothing more than a pipe dream. The bomb shelters help in securing the safety of the people, giving them space away from the terror that Germans unload on Russian soil every day. However, maybe even that would not be enough. Perhaps it is time to explore other avenues of action. A good offense, a Chinese general once said a long time ago, is the best defense. Oh, a good offense is the best defense. Everyone knows that saying. Engineer Corps will work with the labour battalions of the district to construct anti-air emplacements throughout the district. No longer shall they reign suffering without impunity. While the army watches without a response. They shall find their bombs matched with flak rounds without mercy. Time enough have we spent on cowering. It is time to cast them down. Hell yes. What's happened now? Oh, damn it, it's going to change by 6. I'm not going to have another PP before then. Oh, we actually have 2 loot left. Do I want to do that right now? Damn, I don't really want the ultranational support getting any higher. Free State of Magadan declare war on the all-Russian government of Amur. Simple treasure. Oh, more PPSHs. Hey, Lebedev, can you shine a light here? Private Smirnov squinted in the dark, trying to make out what the crates in the darkness were. Seconds later, a bright beam shone in his face. Smirnov blinked before taking out a crowbar. According to HQ, this old building used to be an armory. It was the task of him and the rest of the logistic platoon to scour the building for any provision that could be of any use to the army. Soldier finished pulling off the lid. He and another comrade lifted it off and looked inside, pulling out a pair of dusty khaki jackets. Pre-war, obviously. Smelling a little musty, but in good condition. Smirnov wrapped the one he took around himself, quite warm too. Whoever sealed these uniforms in knew what he was doing. Food! A voice from the other squad came ringing out in the darkness of the armory. Smirnov and the rest of the squad ran across the storeroom floor, their boots pounding on the concrete floor as they made their way to the voice. As they looked at the crate they opened, their eyes widened, like Aladdin finding the cave of magical treasures. But to Smirnov and the rest of the platoon, the packets of canned food inside were far more valuable. Yay! Gosh, this is doing good for us. It's the political power I need, though. I need political power. I need to crack down on this bloody Black League. Because if they come anytime soon, we are. The bonus defense is not good. Looking up. What's happened? Death Prime Minister Field Marshal Plake. What is your opinion of Omsk and the Black Reed, Comrade Chernov? Oh, they're just a bunch of reactionaries. I don't know why I was listening to them. It's been a week since ultranationalist agitator Private Anatoly Morozov was transferred from his unit to a garrison post on the other side of the country. Commissar Egorov was assigned to this unit, performed regular checkups on the loyalty of the units. Don't pause. Where the ultranationalists have been spreading counter-revolutionary propaganda. So okay, comrade, Egorov said. It's only natural for people to start spouting nonsense when all they have around them are bad influences. However, you're ranked the highest in your loyalty test since Markov's reassignment. How's he doing, if I'm allowed to ask? Does he still hold ultranationalist sympathies? No, comrade, he hasn't spoken that much ever since being transferred, especially not about the Black League. He's still being watched by the commissars, but we're thinking of ending his parole soon. Good to hear. Light will always disperse the shadow. Stability. We're doing quite good on stability now. Prime Minister Thailand, a new Prime Minister anyways. Yeah, we're not going to get there. Cast them down is finished. A semblance of safety. What was that? Oh, okay. The bombs still fall over Russia. Such is the fact of life in the district. From the east, the tyrant Kaganovich still eyes us, but force to tear his raiders and drive them away. The Germans still prowl the sky, but now their hold does not go unchallenged. Men and women manning the anti-air emplacements present a credible challenge against the bombers, who now cannot act with impunity against the Sverdlovsk civilian and military population. The whole district rejoices as people from the marshal to the lowest worker have stumbled upon safety, or a semblance of it. Some unfortunate bombs still find their targets, and Kaganovich's wolves raid us for resources and loot. And where the fact remains, the people are more secure than ever, with the army doing its best to protect them from harm. The marshal expects his people to put his space of relief to good use. 5 stability, 2.5% change in popularity, 4-5 homes, up 1 monthly population, more defense on core territory, and we get the event Daily Life. I'm really looking forward to when we get the next tree. I'm getting rid of the bloody air bombings. Or as I should say, the terror bombings. Construction speed is going to be so free repair as well. Oh, it's going to be so good. And this will also be very close to exploding. Yeah, they are very close. Lend-Lease. Colonel Smirnov looked at the old Thompson submachine gun held in his hands and into the truck being unloaded with crates of weaponry. A logistical platoon just returned from an old army base loaded with arms and equipment, enough to arm hundreds of soldiers. They weren't American Lend-Lease weapons from the Great Patriotic War. What a shame that not only were these imported American weapons from the war, but that the boxes of ammunition they found were all rusted. He walked towards the truck until he found a man with a gunsmith insignia on his uniform and began to speak. How long will it take to rechamber one of these guns for our Tokarev rounds? We'd have to get more rechambers from Sverdlovsk, the gunsmith said. But once we receive them, it should be a relatively easy task. Smirnov looked at the road once more. The stack of unloaded crates looked like an ancient pyramid. Such was its height. The unit will pay for requisition and transportation costs. Tell your men that we'll be very busy in the coming weeks. Grand. We should definitely go ahead and new research facilities. What do I want to grab? New industrial equipment. I'm going to go for new industrial equipment. Let's do that. It's going to hurt that a little bit more. So, are they still... How are you doing for division-wise? 4 to 6. So, I still do outnumber them. We do have them, for the most part, exercised and organised. They go. Infantry anti-tank. The RPG-2, an improved shoulder-fired missile launcher, incorporating design improvements such as lighter materials and better sights, and high-explosive anti-tank heat warheads. I like the sound of that. Takagi, elected Prime Minister of Japan. Panzer expert. Well, you're not using any tanks right now, but I'll bear that in mind. The Black Hydra. Oh, aggressive assaulter all the way for you, an offensive doctrine. Commissar Dmitriev stared with his mouth agape at the photos before him. Pictures of pro-Black League pamphlets, posters with their emblem, and books by Karbyshev and his generals piled up on his desk. I've never seen so many traitorous materials from a unit like the 47th, however you pronounce this battalion, in his entire career. Just 3 months ago it was ranked as one of the most loyal units available. How could this happen? The door to his office opened. A man wearing the uniform of the military police entered the room. Comrade Commissar, the policeman saluted. We found the prime suspect for the ultra-nationalist case. He seems to have direct ties to Omsk that helped him spread his reactionary propaganda among the ranks. Who was he? Commissar Dmitriev asked. He was one of the new transfers from last month. His name is Anatoly Morozov. We were going to arrest him, however he escaped and is still at large. Start a manhunt, the commissar said, and get me the officers responsible for transferring him. We cannot let disasters like this happen again. Damn it. They're getting a little bit too much of a hold going on here. At least we're... Oh, bloody political power down the pisser again. I'm hoping we're going to get more when we change the tree. Okay, that's cool. 3 days left until we can do the last focus. Semblance of safety. Alright, let's do it. Silent morning. It all stopped one day. The sirens remained calm. It slipped silence by the lack of incoming danger. Many thought there was a fluke. The Germans would soon return and dominate the skies. And the bombs shall fall again upon Russia without care. Though, nor mercy. Yet, they never returned. The clouds are quiet, with no planes in sight. The rumours were right. The Germans are gone. And the pressure from the internal conflicts, the AA emplacements, and the free aviators, they have withdrawn. The Marshal, along with the rest of the district, breathes a sigh of relief. More dangers remain in the future, however. The shadow merchants of Zatoust and their indiscernible intent, the enigmatic and mysterious Black League, and the remnants of the West Siberian People's Republic under Lazar Kaganovich will soon compete with Sverdlovsk to be the premier power of the region. Time is of the essence. Conflict nears by every second. Good. And we really need to start dealing with... Oh, political power. We're getting back in the positive. Daily life. Once the status quo was untenable, the German bombers were slowly grinding us into dust. They destroyed our homes, damaged our roads, ruined our food stockpiles, and neutered our military capabilities. Meanwhile, the tyrant to the south raided us time and time again, breaking our defences and reaping the spoils. In effect, they were one and the same, a single unified force dedicated to destroying Sverdlovsk. Now our fortunes have shifted. When few bombers crawl over the Urals, are met with our anti-aircraft fire, and the population of our cities have grown accustomed to the spasmodic bombing runs. Our fortifications have made each consecutive raid costlier and costlier for Kaganovich, yet he still returns. The damages and casualties caused by both the bombings and the raids have decreased exponentially. While the threat posed by the Germans at Kaganovich have become part of daily life, the civilians of Sverdlovsk go about their duties with stoicism and bravery, comforted both by the fact that there are safety measures in place to protect them, and the hope that one day neither will harm them ever again. Good. It's just a shame that this is going to increase even more. Another 6%. At least they're only 5 away. Crack down on you. Low. Gets it to low. One thing at a time. Once we get better political power game, we'll be fine. But when that comes, that'll be the case. Old bird. Oh ho ho ho! Private Kruppen shone a light into an abandoned hangar. As the mission HQ had informed them, there were still a number of old planes from the last days of the Great Patriotic War. The question was how many of them were still functioning, if any. He and his squad walked down the aisle, like their sister squad on a different aisle, checking the condition of each plane in turn. Much to their disappointment, most of them, like the first plane, were rusted beyond repair, their internal parts perhaps being useful for scrap. That's when they found the old Ilyushin IL-2 attack plane. Like its sisters, much of the paint had worn away over the years, but the cockpit looked okay, and the other external parts, though obviously out of maintenance, seemed more functional. There was only one way to this plane. You were once in the Air Force, comrade, Sergeant Ibragimov said, facing Krupin. The private nodded, opened the cockpit and entered the plane. The controls looked a little worn, but still functional. From the startup sequence from memory, his face grew into a grin and his comrades began to cheer. After years of dormancy, the old plane's engine spluttered to life once more. Yay, planes! And we also got some loot. We still have 3 loot, that's nice. And we have planes. I don't believe it. World War II fighters. We have some Thunderbolts. We have some tactical bombers. New cells. Privates Fedorov, Mechnikov, and Yurtayev for your formation of an illegal Black League cell and dissemination of its propaganda in the 4th Sverdlovsk Battalion. The court-martial pleads, pleads you guilty, finds you guilty and sentences you to execution by firing squad. Commissar Alexei's verdict was final. The 3 privates standing behind a table filled with pieces of Black League propaganda, nodding acceptance of the sentence, and were escorted by guards back to their cells. As Alexei left the courtroom, he was stopped by his superior divisional commissar, Kalashnik, who led him into an office. Comrade Alexei, there's something I need to show you, he said, gesturing to a map of the country. A rough circle of black pins surrounded Sverdlovsk itself like a ring of dark fire, edging ever closer to it. Each pin is a known Black League cell, Kalashnik explained. Seeing Alexei's eyes widen, he continued, I see you understand the problem with your little friends now. Close to Sverdlovsk and pointed like a dagger at its heart was the Pervolsk cell. Let's attempt to infiltrate. But stop taking away my political power! Stop it! Oh, is it Civil War time? The mercenaries, it's gonna be Civil War time. And you, have you got your... Oh yes, you'll be starting to work down. Enemy of the people, Omsk. I think they're in a worse position, Tumen, just because they're in a rock and a hard place really. They've got me to the north and Omsk to the south. A silent morning. Ho 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 ho! Government idea increased relations been removed. Okay. I missed an alarm. Sasha Kornilova's eyes snapped open as the sunlight hit them. In a panic, she jumped out of bed and practically threw herself to her dresser, collecting the clothes she would wear today. A glance at the clock had her in shock all on its own. It was almost noon. She had never been able to sleep in so late before. The bombs had been here. Her alarm since she was a young girl. That thought brought Sasha to a halt. In her panic at sleeping in, she hadn't noticed the strange silence that existed in the city. With caution, she opened her window and looked out into the sky. Nothing. The usual rumble of the German bombers was absent. Instead, the skies were clear of any noise. Of course, she expected bombers to return later in the day, but for now, she would enjoy the peace, and at least when she got to work. They were stretched by, and still the bombers did not come. In the evening, Sasha was able to enjoy her walk back to her apartment, the cool Siberian air soothing the aches that she had accrued. In the factory, Sasha ate a lonely dinner and listened to the official radio broadcast reports that all across Sverdlovsk territory the skies were quiet. The reports say that for the first time in years, the free aviators had no reason to leave their runways. At last, as Sasha lay down for bed, she reached over and set her alarm on the old clock for the first time in her life. A silent night. And now, our work begins. A deal with Dragunov. AK-47s, ho ho ho. Zlatoust. An ultimatum from the Lion. Okay. Eternal enemies. The insanity of Yazov. Okay, anyways. It doesn't look like some of them are going to take that long to do. Our work begins. For better or for worse, the bombers have disappeared, and the silence is more deafening than any explosion could ever be. Already our foes are working to fill the silence with the sons of labour and warfare, and we must not let this opportunity to rebuild and expand go to waste. Sverdlovsk can no longer afford to keep its head down, to do damage control. Instead, it must be reorganised into a state ready for not only the reunification of the lands of the former Western Siberian People's Republic, but Russia as a whole. It must empty the sandbags, retire the searchlights, and send the anti-aircraft gunners back to the factories. The road ahead is long, and there is much work to be done. Okay, I think what we should probably do is, we might do a deal with you, new Russian army. 4-year draft. The 4 operations. Operation Orange. Operation Blue, Operation Black, and Operation Red. One step closer. Oh, that'll be the free aviators. Oh no, the Vorkuta Corrective Labour Camp. Yugra. Oh, we have much to do. I think we'll go for the insanity of Yazov. And get rid of the minus 15 for them, because they're up to 23. They're only on 4, so... The infiltration efforts. I swear, Comrade Commissar, we were framed. We don't know what the Black League pamphlets are doing in our lockers. I've heard that one so many times, he said to the arrested privates as they were escorted away from the barracks. He took out a flask of vodka and drank. All these arrests continue, comrade. His aide laughed. Yeah, a bit, Sokorin said, putting his flask away. Ever since they hired agents to infiltrate the Black League cells, the military police were raking intelligence about their activities like a gambler at a casino. The discovery that they were far more cells than they previously knew about was disconcerting, but now their experience was shown. It made cracking down on them all the easier. HQ didn't know about the cell's existence before Agent Polatov sent in a number of intelligence reports of communication between them and one in the neighbouring village. Sokorin checked his notebook. They still had another cell to arrest before the day was done. Wait, what? Why has that increased their... Okay, we need to deal with them sooner rather than later. Unassigned divisions. Oh. 4 to 6. I do outnumber you. I might go for Yugra first though. 2 to 4. Oh, Black League influence. You can get in the bin. Get in the bin. Right. I don't really have the Marshal, medium, fair height. Let's get the bonus defense. It's gonna blow up soon. Goodbye, Mr. H. Create a Sverdlovsk unit. Deal with resolve. Guarantee for arms, no compromise. Yeah, so let's do the internal enemies. Subversives inside Sverdlovsk pose just as much of a threat to our nation as the enemy soldiers standing at our borders. Thus far, our failure to contain them has led to the disheartened army with significantly high desertion rate, as well as the consistent leaking of state secrets into Black League. We must identify who within the state poses a threat to our country. If we're to end these destructive forces, if we do not, and these threats from within, then we should be surely conquered by the threats without. Oh, political power, the cancer within. The silent skies. At long last, the skies are clear. Thanks to Marshal Rokossovsky's great efforts to protect the people and actively deter the Nazis, the bombers have disappeared and our people are free from the claws of the Luftwaffe. This is cause for celebration. But we must not be idle. There is much work to be done to prepare Sverdlovsk for the reclamation of Russia. We cannot afford to waste time. Our industries and infrastructure must not only be repaired, but upgraded. Our military must be re-equipped and strengthened. And we must investigate our rivals in the region so we know what we're up against. It's time to come out of hiding. Let's get to work. Let's do this, boys. Oh, it's a new day for us. A new dawn, rather. Let's go ahead and improve our research facilities. We have 24,000 manpower, and there he goes. Oh. What? What happened? Collapse Central Authority. The truth. What the hell? Officers Gorky and Borobin stood in an abandoned warehouse, their flashlights lighting up nothing but rubble. According to information given by Agent Poladev, Black League cell was supposed to be meeting here 30 minutes ago to meet an agent from Omsk, who would give the additional propaganda materials instructions. What happened, Gorky asked his comrade. They must have found out about us and scrammed. Borden said, swearing under his breath as he pulled out radio from his coat. Radio HK, stakeout of failure. Meanwhile, Polter sat in the barracks room. The message to the base was sent, and all he needed was a reply. Looking at the clock, he too pulled out a tiny radio from his pocket and turned it on. Beep signaling the coming of his instructions came exactly on time, and soon an artificial female voice began calling out series and numbers. He pulled out a notebook and began to decipher the broadcast. Congratulations, Agent Morozov, for your successful false information leak. The message: the great trial draws a day closer thanks to your efforts. Here are your weekly instructions. The devil is always the last person you expect. Oh. The cancer within. Our borders remain porous, and infiltrators from both Tumen and Omsk slither through every unpatrolled gap. They damage infrastructure vital to our internal trade system. They turn civilians and military personnel against us with propaganda rhetoric, not actual truth. Revisionist partisans damage our military facilities and assist the enemy during raids in order to weaken us for Kavanovich's inexorable attack. Black lead operatives are far more antisocial, launching car bomb and IED attacks. They also engage in full-blown shootouts of local garrisons. The elements are a threat to our nation and its people and must be dealt with at once. Something must be done. The insanity of Yazov. With the death of Karbyshev, we were hoping that the nightmare in Omsk was finally over. It appears our assumptions were wrong. At only 38 years old, Dmitry Yazov continues his predecessor's tradition of ultra-nationalist militarism, focused on destroying Germany. While we aren't necessarily in opposition to such an aim, Yazov has decided that in order to complete his goal, he must have to conquer all of Russia, and we stand right at his doorstep. Already Omsk has begun preparing for conflict with Sverdlovsk through the mass collection of what we thought was secure information. Among the files lost are our current industrial capacity, army size, many of our plans for expansion. Quelling these information leaks and rooting out Yazov's spy are a top priority. 100 political power. Oh, we're getting PP. Good. Crack down on the revisionists. Let's do it. Let's crack on down on them. Because we'll deal with the Black League once we've done this at Focus. Something big's happened, and we know what it is. It's civil war time in Germany. It's time for it to kick off. And there we go. It's a happened. Yes, tear yourselves apart. It's such a terrible shame. Oh, cue the dramatic music. Oh, thank you. Hand speed of the systems control of Germania. Odenstadt, Burgund. Himmler is on the march. Franco-Burgundian War. There's the English Civil War. I love when anything explodes. Gods of the North. Expansion into Africa. Ah yes, everyone's starting to kind of take some more land. Here's Free France. Charles de Gaulle looking terrible. You'll see some more nations pop up in what was anarchy. The Poles have risen up. The English Civil War. The Black League influence annihilated. Owing to the tireless efforts of the ISB and a noticeable uptick in civilians identifying and reporting enemy agents, Farachnikov has reported that the last major Black League cell operating in our territory has been thoroughly destroyed. Any minor cells have been catalogued and will be wiped out post-haste. He also reports that the efforts to separate and de-radicalize suspected sympathizers in the military have borne fruit and played a major role in locating major hideouts and preventing several terrorist attacks. The Black Taint has been purged from Sverdlovsk, but we must remain vigilant. With their work in shambles and their contacts either imprisoned or dead, the people of Sverdlovsk can breathe easy, knowing that there are no Black League agents among them. Now we fix our eyes to the east, where the final confrontation with Omsk awaits. Good. Good. And we just need to deal with that. Oh. Formation of faction, more war breaking out, nothing new there. Research bleed plus 10. I do need all the falling, so it doesn't really matter which way we go. We don't need to do the guns deal right now. I think what we'll work with is we'll start working down. I'm going to go with the research first. Strengthening our technological ability will assist greatly in our efforts to renovate the army and build up our economic strength. Following the Second World War and the collapse of Russia and the subsequent Soviet-German War, Sverdlovsk has found itself in the position of several formerly Soviet scientists. Many of these scientists have come to us offering their services. Creating a new bureau to manage these scientists and build research facilities to house and employ them would be quite a boom for our research and development teams. So we gain 10 research speed, and our research facilities' societal development will begin to improve. Good. Oh, we start the Royal Military District. Oh, that's ended. The Serbs have risen up. Crack down the Black League. I think we just need to continue to crack down on them. Actually, it doesn't do anything. Could do with getting rid of the bloody party popularity, like. Guardian of the Sky. We can work quite closely with them. An offer of integration. Draw out the plans. There's more war. South African War. Oh, I can't wait for next episode. We are hopefully going to begin our warring. Victory against the revisionists. Let's do it. We will have our moment. Caught red-handed. Chuganov, what can you tell us about the Black League's activities in Sverdlovsk? Officer Plotnikov stood in front of a young man in a chair at the side of the desk. Outside, another guard stood watching the event. The prisoner attempted to escape. The previous morning, Chuganov was caught by border police trying to bypass their security checks. Whilst he claimed he came from Tumen, certain papers on his person suggest otherwise. I told you, I have nothing to do with those freaks. My parents live in Sverdlovsk. I wanted to see. A convincing story, Plotnikov said. If it weren't for the papers we confiscated, maybe we could have believed you. Chuganov, or should we say, Medvedev. Tiny notebook, hold it close to his face as he began to read. Says here you were supposed to rendezvous with a Black League cell in an abandoned factory outside Kamensk. Medvedev, can you tell us a little bit more about this group of yours? Medvedev sighed, realizing his game was up. What do you want to know about them? He said to the officer before him. Ha ha ha. We've got you now. And obviously they're intervening in that because they can't not do it. They love the opportunity to get involved. Oh, it's gonna be so nice to get rid of that. It's gonna be so nice. We have no bonus defense loss, like negative losses of defense for any of them now. Quality small arms, production cost plus 10, but reliability and division attack are up. Savant High Command, plan speed up for 730 days. Do we get any extra research lots? Let's do you. Sverdlovsk possesses some of the most talented commanders to have ever walked the earth. Rokozovsky himself, Pavel Batov, Yakov Krizer, and Ivan Bragramyan are but a few of the generals under our command. Each one brings their own skills and specialties to the table, but together they form the backbone of not only the Third Army, but Sverdlovsk itself. We need extensive knowledge of the battlefield to implement wide-reaching reforms in our military. Everything from how best to wield a bayonet to drawing up plans for front-wide offensive operations. Good, 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 good. Come on, finish this. And Rokozovsky, you're doing well. We're doing well. Victories against the revisionists. Oh, the Internal Security Bureau is at war, and this war has presented them with a new challenge. Enemy combatants wear no uniforms, bear no armbands or symbols on their persons. They don't wield rifles and knives against us. Their weapons of choice are books, pamphlets, and propaganda. In this war, battles are fought and won in the minds of our soldiers, not on the battlefield. Thanks to the tireless work of the brave sons of Sverdlovsk and the ISB, our efforts in combating the persisting revisionist influence have been widely successful. The seditious Kavanovicite elements operating within our borders view the general populace as sympathetic to their cause, which gave our operatives the perfect opportunity to infiltrate their organizations. Our men on the inside clandestinely leaked us information that allowed us to thwart the revisionist attempt to raid army stockpiles and disseminate disseminate pro-revisionist literature. And once the main bases of these cells were pinpointed and were struck from the map with practiced machine-like efficiency, revisionist influence has taken a serious blow and is unlikely that we'll ever be able to recover. Tyrants have no place in Sverdlovsk, or Russia for that matter. Oh, look at our stability, 54%. We are so getting ready for war next episode. Definitely. I want to get to war as soon as possible. Let's actually go ahead and research the AK-47. Good old Kalashnikov. Sorry, PPSH. But your time has come. Your time has come from ages, actually. We'll get in the AKM soon. AK-74. Oh. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave that episode there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I shall be back with another episode very, very soon. Until then, take care. Cheer bye. The now.